Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to break down the UGC NET Computer Science previous paper of the year 2007 June paper 2. There are 50 questions, so we already covered the first 25 questions in part 1. So this is the second part. So in this second part, I will cover the remaining 25 questions. I will explain complex concepts in simple terms and provide tips and tricks to help you ace the exam. So whether you are a beginner or an experienced one in writing the exam, this video is for you. So let's start the video. So 26th question. In case of bus or tree topology, signal balancing issue is overcome by. In bus and tree topology, signal balancing issues arise because signals degrade as they travel along a shared medium, especially over the long distances. To maintain signal strength and avoid degradation, we use the segmentation. We use the technique called segmentation. In the case of segmentation, we are dividing the network into number of smaller segments and connecting them using repeaters or amplifiers. So this will ensure that the signals are refreshed and retransmitted, overcoming degradation and maintaining balance. So the option C is the correct one. Next, which of the following techniques are used to control data flow? So windowing, routing, RPCs, buffering. So which of the techniques we are using to control the data flow? Okay. So normally we will take each option one by one here. So first one is the windowing. Windowing means, so in the sliding window protocol, so the sender will send some set of messages, some set of bits to the receiver. So after getting the acknowledgement for the particular number of the transmitted bits, then it will slide over the message and it will transmit the remaining bits. Right? So this type of windowing is used in protocols like TCP. It allows the sender to send multiple packets before needing an acknowledgement from the receiver. It helps in controlling the flow by managing how much data can be sent without overwhelming the receiver. And routing, so to set a path from sender to receiver in a network, so we use the routing. And this concept is not directly related to the controlling the data flow, but to find the optimal path for data transmission, we use this technique. The next one is the remote procedures call, RPC. So this is a technique for executing the code on a remote server. So if a client wants to execute some code on a remote server, then this technique will be usable. And it is also not related to the data flow technique. And it enables the communication between the applications, that is between client and server applications. And the next one is the buffering. So buffering means it is a temporary storage of data in memory while it is being transferred. So it controls the flow by smoothing out variations in the rate of data production and consumption. So option A, that is the 1 and 4 are related to the controlling data flow. So in the windowing, sliding window protocol and buffering, we are using the data flow. We are controlling the data flow. And in the routing and RPCs, we are not controlling. So option A is the correct one. Next, TDM is. So TDM is the primary or secondary type protocol, P2P protocol, a non-priority P2P protocol, and a priority type protocol. TDM means time division multiplexing. So it is a method of transmitting and receiving independent signals over a common signal path by means of synchronized switches at each of the transmission lines, so that each signal appears on the line only a fraction of time in an alternating pattern. So TDM is a non-priority P2P protocol. So token bus or token ring are known as a priority P2P protocol, whereas the TDM is called a non-priority P2P protocol. So option C is the correct one. What services does the internet layer provide? Quality of service, routing, addressing, connection vendor delivery, and training bits. So first of all, we must know completely about all the 7 layers of the OSI model and the 5 layers of the TCP/IP model. So we must be clear about the functionalities of the TCP/IP model and the OSI model. So many questions will be asked from these models. So let us solve the question. So internet layer provides which type of services? So quality of service, routing, addressing, connection vendor delivery, and training bits. So the internet layer is a group of networking methods, protocols, and specifications in the internet protocol suite that are used to transport datagrams from originating host access network boundaries. So internet layer provides quality of service. So what are the services provided by the internet layer? So it provides quality of service, routing, and addressing. Internet layer can prioritize certain types of traffic, ensuring better performance for specific data flow, thereby ensuring thereby it will definitely transmit the data from sender to receiver without any noise or traffic. And routing, it determines the path packets take through the network to reach the destination. And addressing, it provides logical address, for example, IP address to identify device on the network. So these three are the services provided by the internet layer. Next, the option 4 and option 5. So framing bits. Framing is service provided by the data link layer. It will divide the message into number of frames and transmit over the physical medium. Whereas the connection over the delivery. So this service comes under the transport layer. It is provided by the transport layer, for example TCP, and not by the internet layer. So that's why option 1, 2, 3 are correct. A is correct. So next, which of the following protocol is used to prevent looping? First of all, what is done by looping here? A routing loop is common problem with various types of networks, particularly in the computer networks. They form when an error occurs in the operation of a routing algorithm, and such as a result in a group of nodes, the path to a particular destination forms a loop. That means they are repeatedly sending the same message to a particular destination. So here the correct option is the spanning tree. Okay, so let us see the each and every option here. So here, open shortest path first. A routing protocol used for finding the shortest path for data packets in IP networks, and this is not used to prevent loops. So we will just find the shortest path between the source and the destination. So what is the shortest path between the source and destination? For this particular thing, we will use the OSPF. Whereas the SRB, source route bridging, a protocol for bridging in token networks, but it doesn't prevent looping. And the next one is the fragment-free switching, a method of switching that forwards frames after verifying the first 64 bytes of data, but it is unrelated to loop prevention. So the answer is spanning tree. The spanning tree protocol is a network protocol that builds a logical loop-free topology for Ethernet networks. So option A, B is correct. The parsing techniques that avoids backtracking is top-down parsing, recursive descent parsing, predictive parsing, and syntax tree parsing. A predictive parser is a recursive descent parser that doesn't require backtracking. Predictive parsing is possible only for the class of LL of K grammars. So predictive parsing is a type of top-down parsing that avoids the backtracking. So option C is the correct one. So let us see the remaining options also. Top-down parsing, recursive descent parsing, syntax tree, predictive parsing. Top-down parsing is a category that includes, it is a broad category. So we have two types of parsing techniques like top-down parsing and bottom-up parsing. So in the top-down parsing, we have different methods that include a recursive descent parsing and predictive parsing also. So only the predictive parsing will avoid the backtracking. So not all the top-down parsing will avoid the backtracking. Only the predictive parsing will avoid the backtracking. The next one is the recursive descent parsing, a type of top-down parsing that may involve backtracking unless it is implemented using a predictive parser. So predictive parsing. So this is a specific form of recursive descent parsing that uses a look ahead table, that is LL of one parsing table, to decide the correct production rule and avoids the backtracking. And syntax tree is nothing but a structure here, syntactic structure of a string according to the grammar. So option C is the correct one. Next, a top-down parser generates, so which type of derivation? A top-down parsing can be viewed as an alternate to find the leftmost derivations of an input stream by searching for parse trees using the top-down expansion of the given formal grammar rules. So option C is the correct one, that is the leftmost derivations. In an absolute loading scheme, which loader function is accomplished by programmer? So absolute loading scheme, the programmer is responsible for providing the absolute address at which the program is loaded into the main memory. So this means the task must be done, this following task must be done by the programmer, that is the allocation and linking. The programmer will determine the memory locations where the program and data are to be loaded. Suppose he wants to load a program at the memory location 1000. Okay, so this will be done by the programmer at the absolute loading scheme. Okay, so he will specify the memory location where the program must be loaded, and there is no dynamic memory allocation is handled by the loader. Next one is the linking also. The programmer ensures that all references between program modules or subroutines are resolved manually. This involves manually specifying the address of subroutines or external data. Okay, so option A and B, both A and B are correct. Next, symbol table can be used for. So the symbol table is an important data structure created and maintained by the compilers in order to store the information about the occurrence of various entities such as variable names, function names, objects, classes, interface, etc. So symbol table is used by both the analysis and the synthesis parts of the compiler. So option D is the correct one. It is all of the above. So we can use the symbol table for checking the type compatibility, to suppress the duplication or error message, and storage allocation. Moving process from main memory to disk is called. So moving a process from main memory to disk is called as a swapping. Swapping is a technique that enables the computer to execute programs and manipulate data files larger than main memory. The OS copies as much as possible into main memory and leaves the rest on the disk. So option C is the correct one, that is swapping. So swapping is the constant moving of data from main memory to hard disk. Okay. So if you want to execute any program, it must be there in the main memory, right? Okay. But main memory has a limited storage place, whereas the secondary memory, that is the hard disk, has a large amount of memory space. So that's why whenever we want to execute any file, then it will be loaded to the main memory. The program will be loaded to the main memory. So after execution by CPU, then it will be again sent back to the secondary memory. So this constant swapping will be done by the OS in the it will be done by the OS. Next one. Part of a program where the shared memory is accessed and which should be executed indivisibly is called as. So it is a part of a program where the shared memory is accessed and executed indivisibly. That means independently it must be executed. So that is called as a critical section. So critical section is a part of the program. Okay, so it is a part of the program code. So critical section. And only one process is allowed to enter into the critical section. Okay, only one process will be, so multiple number of processes will be waiting to enter the critical section, but only one process is allowed here. So P0, P1, P2, so like this multiple number of processes will be waiting to enter the critical section. Okay, so here how do we allow any process to enter the critical section? So by using the semaphores. By using the semaphore variables, we are allowing each process to enter the critical section, and we are allowing the remaining process to wait for the critical section. So this will be done using the semaphores. So what is the mutual exclusion here? So mutual exclusion means only one process must be there in the critical section. Okay? And each process must be independent of each other. That is called as a mutual exclusion. Independent. Okay. So answer is a critical section. Okay. So if it is a critical section is also called as a program. It is a part of a program code or any main memory location. It is called as a critical section. Next. Windows is a dash operating system. So we know that Windows is a preemptive operating system, right? So what is the preemptive and non-preemptive? So preemptive means there will be some interruptions while using a program, right? So OS is also a program. So while running the Windows operating system, there may be some updates, right? So there may be some interrupts. So OS will handle that update and interrupts, right? So here we are allowing another program to execute here. So there is some preemption or disturbance. So that's why Windows is a preemptive operating system. Yes. The nice command is used in Unix to decrease the priority of a process, to increase the priority of a process, to get the highest priority, nothing to do with the priorities. So option A and B are correct one. To increase and to decrease the priority of a process, we use the nice command in Unix. It allows for the adjustment of the niceness value of the process. Adjusting the nice value of process allows for settling an advised CPU priority that kernel scheduler will use to determine which process get more or less CPU time. So A and B both are true here. Next. Which page replacement policy suffers from Bilady's anomaly? So Bilady's anomaly is a problem faced in the page replacement policy of FIFO, fast in fast out. This phenomenon occurs in which increasing the number of page frames resulting in an increase in the number of page faults for certain memory access pattern. This phenomenon is commonly experienced in the FIFO page replacement algorithm. So FIFO is the correct one. Cache memory is. So cache memory is high-speed register, low-speed RAM, non-volatile RAM, and high-speed RAM. So it is called as a high-speed RAM. So cache memory is placed between the CPU and main memory. So CPU and main memory, the cache memory is placed. So why do we use the cache memory here? So in order to reduce the number of attempts to read the main memory, we will use the cache memory in nearby CPU. So this is a high-speed random access memory, which is placed between the CPU and main memory. Right. So in order to access the most frequently used programs, so we are using the cache memory. So that is the main purpose of cache memory, right? So we'll use the frequently used programs in the cache memory. And compared to main memory, cache memory is having less amount of memory. To increase the performance of the computer and to increase the fastness of the computer, we use the cache memory here. The cache memory is also called as a CPU memory, which is a random access memory that a computer microprocessor can access more quickly than it can access a regular RAM. So this memory is typically integrated with CPU chip or placed on separate chip that CPU a separated bus interconnect with the CPU. So high speed RAM. So normally main memory means RAM only, right? Main memory means RAM. Okay. So this is a cache memory is a high speed RAM. Next. Which of the following combination is preferred with respect to cohesion and coupling? So the cohesion must be high and coupling must be low, right? If you want a good software design, so you have to go for high cohesion and low coupling. So option C is the correct one. So difference between flowchart and data flow diagram is. So what is the difference between the flowchart and data flow diagram? A flowchart details the how control of the process is flowing, whereas the data flow diagram details the flow of data through a system. The flowchart mainly focuses on the control flow. It depicts the sequence of operations or steps in a process. Okay. So suppose we are starting from a start to the next decision process, and we will follow the sequence of steps in the flowchart, right? And at the last, so there will be some decision boxes, right? So followed by some decisions, and then finally we will reach the end of the flowchart, right? So starting from the start to the end. Okay. So there is a sequence of operations or steps in a process. It emphasizes decisions, loops, and the order of execution. It is used for designing algorithms and understanding the flow of control in a program. Whereas the data flow diagram, so data flow diagram focuses on the data flow. It represents how the data moves through a system and how it is processed at various stages. It includes data sources, process, data stores, and data destinations. So it's used in the system design to model data processing and flow, whereas the flowchart is used for designing the algorithms. So here option C is the correct one. So control flow and the data flow. Next. Match the following. Which of the following is true? So from the given option, which of the following is true? So here given the options here, unit test, system testing, validation testing, and integration testing. So unit test refers to tests that verify the functionality of a specific section of code. So here a program is divided into small number of units. Okay. And unit testing will test the functionality of the small units. Next, system testing. So here for unit testing, so in the given options we will select the. So here unit test means it denotes the functionality of each individual unit of the program. Okay, but here it is not mentioned here. The next, let us check the next one, system testing. System test or end-to-end testing test a completely integrated system to verify that it meets its requirements. So for B, option 1 is correct. Next, validation testing. On the validation testing, uh, is done to confirm that the final product satisfies the customer needs or not. So the commonly used validation testing or user acceptance testing, alpha testing and beta testing. So we use this validation testing to ensure the software meets the specified business requirements and user needs. So this option is not there. Next, integration testing. So integration testing is any type of software testing that seeks to verify the interface between components against a software design. Okay. So none of the above is the correct option. Next, problems with waterfall model are. So real projects rarely follow this model proposals. It is often difficult for the customers and working model is available only in the end. Developers are delayed unnecessarily. So waterfall model is a sequential model and in real time this implementation of this waterfall model is very critical. So that's why all of the options are correct. So all are the drawbacks of the waterfall model. So option D is the correct one. Which one of the following is a object-oriented approaches? Booch method, Rumba method, code and Yomden method, all of the above. So all of the listed methods are object-oriented approaches. Okay. So the Booch method is developed by the Grady Booch. It focuses on designing and documenting the object-oriented systems. And the Rumba method. It is also known as OMT, that is the Object Modeling Technique. So developed by James Rumba and his team. It emphasizes on analysis and design of the object-oriented systems. The Code and Yomden method. Developed by Peter Cod and Edward Jordan. It focuses on simplifying object-oriented analysis and design. So that's why all of these object-oriented approaches are listed methods only. So D is the correct answer. Which technical concept sets cellular apart from all preceding mobile or radar systems? So option C is the correct one, that is the frequency reuse. So frequency reuse is a technical concept that sets cellular systems apart from earlier mobile and radio communication systems. It is the foundation of modern cellular networks and allows efficient utilization of the radio spectrum by dividing a geographic area into smaller cells, each with its own set of frequencies. This approach enables the same frequencies to be reused in a non-adjacent cells, increasing the capacity of the network without interference. So option C is the correct one. Wireless interconnections to PSTN is also known as localities, CLECs, POPs, IXCs. So correct answer is POPs. That is points of presence. It refers to locations where wireless or wired networks interconnect with the public switched telephone network. A POP is essentially a gateway that provides access to the public switched telephone networks for wireless communication system. It acts as a bridge between wireless networks and telephone systems. So option C is the correct one. Next. Dimensional modeling in data mining refers to. So view and interrogator, define, structures and store data, retrieve information only, none of these. Dimensional modeling refers to the technique used to design logical models for database, which can support OLAP and data warehouse design. A dimensional modeling in data mining and data warehousing refers to the process of designing and structuring data in a way that it is optimized for querying and analysis. So it involves organizing data into schemas such as star schema or snowflake schemas that are intuitive and allow for efficient storage and for retrieval of information. So option A is the correct one. So to view and interrogate, to view and query the data or interrogate the data. Next one, the UNI, it is the Unlicensed National Information Infrastructure band operates at which frequency? The Unlicensed National Information Structure band operates on a 5 GHz frequency range. This band is primarily used for wireless communication technologies like Wi-Fi, and it provides higher data rates and less interference compared to the 2.4 GHz band. So here, 2.4 GHz band is used by the industrial, scientific, and medical purpose. It is also used for Wi-Fi, but not by UNI. And 33 MHz and 16 GHz are not related to the UNI band. So option C is the correct one. Next, which digital wave technology employs as n equals to 1 CDMA, that is a code division multiple access, employs an n equals to 1 frequency release plan, meaning all cells can use the same frequency spectrum simultaneously. In CDMA, each user signal is spread across the entire frequency band using unique codes, which allows multiple users to share the same frequency without interference. This is different from traditional frequency release plans. For example, n equals to 3 or n equals to 7 used in technologies like GSM, CDMA or DAMs, which divide the frequency spectrum among cells to avoid the interference. So, option D is the correct one. So, this is all about the questions asked in the previous year, that is UGC NET June 2007. So this is the all 50 questions asked in the NET 2007 June exam. Thanks for watching the video.